and Yasuka hid within the caves Tahir and Gordafari dragged them into, and watched in silent terror over the impending arrival of the Deev everyone was alerted to. At first, nothing seemed to happen until they heard something falling and land right in the middle of the camp. A loud boom was heard from the impact, which made Soraya flinch while Yasuka stood still out of terror. But what they saw shocked them even more. It was a large humanoid creature that was bipedal, though instead of having human feet, it had hooves. But what stuck out to everyone was the animalistic head it had, though in this case, it had the head of a bull, with large horns that were much bigger and sharper than any ordinary bull would have. Not to mention, it had skin that was as black as the night, and seemed to wear a loincloth made from tiger skin. While it did have dexterous hands with opposable thumbs, it did little to lessen the uncanny and, frankly speaking, terrifying appearance it held. The fact that it was practically a giant compared to most of the people Soraya had encountered in the past spoke volumes of its terrifying strength. The way it growled and looked around while breathing heavily made Soraya and Yasuka's heart rates go up, as they had never truly seen a Deev before up until now. "Is that what a Deev looks like?" Soraya whispered to Nasir in fear, to which he responded by nodding. "Yes, that's what they normally look like," Nasir confirmed in a hushed tone. "Now, be quiet. We have to keep ourselves hidden for now." The Deev continued to prowl around and search for any signs of human activity. Despite the entire tribe having hidden themselves away for the time being, neither of them made a sound or move that would alert the demonic creature to their hiding spots. Even so, that didn't stop the Deev from turning in Soraya's direction, as she and Nasir glanced at her from one of the caves. They both held their breaths, with Soraya silently panicking, as she didn't think she could take one on even with Nasir's help. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," she thought to herself in a panic. "It's found us! What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" As the beast slowly approached them with what appeared to be hunger and malice in its eyes, Gordafari and Nasir prepared for battle, with the warrior woman wielding a sword in her hand that she had with her. However, before either of them could attack, and right when the beast was about to enter the cave they were in, Tahir suddenly pounced and grappled with the beast, clawing its face and biting it with ferocity. The Deev roared in agony and frustration as it tried to get Tahir off, only for Tahir to keep biting and scratching at him without mercy. Soraya and Yasuka looked on in shock, with Nasir and Gordafari doing the same. "I am so glad that did not happen to me," Nasir muttered in slight fear. "I've never seen Tahir fight so fiercely before," Yasuka commented in surprise. "Neither have I," Soraya agreed, only to realize something. "Wait, he's fighting alone! We have to help him!" "Way ahead of you," Gordafari assured the princess before calling out to the other tribe members. "Soldiers, now is our chance! Attack the Deev now!" With a loud battle cry, some of the Frumi tribe members showed up with weapons of their own and proceeded to attack the lower half of the Deev while it was distracted. It yelled in pain as it felt its feet getting stabbed by the many spears, swords, and knives piercing its skin, but it would not go down so easily. Gordafari stabbed the beast using her sword, while Nasir chose to stab it in the heel and knee using his dagger. It eventually wrenched Tahir off its face before throwing him against one of the mountain slopes surrounding the campsite, causing Soraya to panic. "Tahir!" Soraya shouted, only to get her mouth covered by Yasuka. "No, don't! The Deev will hear you!" Yasuka hissed in fear. "But Tahir!" Soraya exclaimed in a hushed yet panicked tone. "He looks badly hurt! Don't worry, we'll treat his wounds later," Yasuka assured her friend before glancing at Tahir cautiously. "He doesn't seem too injured by the Deev, so he should be fine, I think." Of course, the moment she said that, Tahir got up a few seconds later before letting out another roar and flung himself towards the Deev. Yasuka and Soraya could only watch in awe as they witnessed the Gryphon prince fiercely attack the Deev while it tried to grab him. He crawled around with great ferocity before clawing at the beast again and biting its face once more. At one point, the beast grabbed Tahir and was about to take a bite out of his body, to the horror of everyone, until Tahir slashed at one of its eyes, causing it to roar in agony and fall backwards. The Frumi warriors barely had enough time to dodge and could only step back as the beast fell onto the ground with a loud thud. They only continued to attack when Tahir slid out of its loosened grasp, hitting and stabbing with everything they got. But the Deev wouldn't give up as it managed to grab some of the warriors and either slash at them or throw them off its body. At one point, it even kicked some of the fighters away using its large feet, which had enough force to send them flying. However, that all ended when a large axe suddenly appeared to decapitate its head from its body. While the Deev did not bleed, it certainly felt the pain and roared in agony once more before expiring, with its body fading into nothingness in the process. The others glanced at the one who dealt the finishing blow, which was revealed to be none other than Gazdaham, who panted in exhaustion and wiped the sweat from his brow. "Apologies for the late arrival," Gazdaham said as he pulled his axe back. "I was trying to find a weapon big enough to deal with this particular Deev. Is everyone alright? Any injuries I should know of?" Some of the warriors had received injuries ranging from broken bones to laceration and bruises, with Nasir getting a bruise on his stomach after getting kicked away by the Deev earlier. Gordified herself didn't get out unscathed either, as one of her arms remained limp, hence why her sword was held in her other hand, while a scar was etched across her face thanks to getting clawed at by the Deev earlier, with her helmet being partially damaged as well. Though most of their warriors were fine and suffered no casualties, some were worse off than others, hence why they need to be put under immediate medical attention. As for Tahir, he suffered the most injuries on top of his injured wing that prevented him from flying. He was covered in scars around the middle section of his body, with his beak also injured from the battle. Not to mention his wounds made it difficult for him to stand on his legs, much to the concern of everyone. "Tahir!" Soraya and Yaska cried out in fear. "Are you alright? Here, let me heal you," Yaska said as she prepared to use her still functioning arm to heal him, only for Tahir to shake his head. "No, save your strength," Tahir said in a weak tone. "Trust me, I've had worse injuries than this during hunting season. I just need to lie down." As soon as he said that, he passed out and fell onto the ground, much to Soraya and Yasuka's horror. "No! Brother!" Soraya screamed as she tried to wake him up, only to feel a hand on her shoulder. She stopped and turned to see it was Nasir, who shook his head with a somber expression on his face, while still clutching his own wounded ribs. "Don't! It'll exacerbate his wounds," Nasir insisted while shaking his head. "Guys, get him a stretcher or something, and treat the other wounded soldiers as well. You heard the man. Go, go, go!" Gordified ordered before turning to Soraya with an assuring smile. "Don't worry, Your Highness. Your brother is in safe hands with us." Once she said that, she went along with the other Fumi tribe members to get her wounds treated. "Okay, if you say so," Soraya muttered as she took one last look at Tahir before seeing his body getting lifted by the non-wounded Fumi tribe members to another area within the camp. "What's gonna happen now?" "Right now, you need rest," Gazdaham said in a gentle tone. "Would you like some tea while you're at it? You as well, Sky Nun?" "Yes, please," Yaska said with a nod. "Sure, why not?" Soraya said, while nodding as well, albeit in a more numb manner. "If you're worried about your brother, do not fret," Gazdaham assured her in a kind tone. "I will have the healers take good care of him and treat his wounds. He will live, I swear on it." As soon as he left to check on the wounded soldiers, some Frumi woman brought Soraya and Yaska to their beds where they would be placed in for the night. Despite their understandable fears, especially after witnessing a Deev for the first time in their lives, Gazdaham bringing them tea did help soothe their troubled spirits. "Thank you, Chief Gazdaham," Yasuka thanked as she gently took the cup from him, with Soraya doing the same. "Yes, thank you," Soraya thanked in a more somber tone. "Is my brother okay? What about Gordafarid and Nasir, along with your fellow warriors?" "They are doing much better," Gazdaham assured the princess. "Your brother is recovering, since his Gryphon physiology has made him a lot sturdier than the usual human would be against Deev, though he will need to rest for a few days along with the others. What about you? Are you alright?" "Physically, yes," Soraya nodded. "Emotionally, not really. These past few days have been so hectic lately. I lost my parents and my entire kingdom to a deranged sorcerer who wants to kill me. I find out that I had a long-lost brother who was kicked out of our kingdom by my own parents when I was just a baby. Then we got shot down from the sky, which caused Tahir to injure one of his wings and Yaska to break her arm. And now I witnessed my brother almost getting killed by a Deev. Honestly, I'm surprised that I haven't broken down from all this chaos, and I'm still keeping myself together the entire time." "You are very brave and calm for one who has experienced a lot these past few days," Gazdaham commended in a sincere yet sympathetic tone. "No wonder Omorazda has deemed you his champion alongside your brother, if his combat skills are of any indication." This has given us more hope than before when it comes to taking down the accursed sorcerer who has ruined Avesta and allowed those monsters to rampage across the lands. I can't believe someone like him managed to get away with causing all of this chaos, Soraya said in disbelief. Why would anyone want to follow him, let alone serve him to begin with? How did he gain this much power to cause a reign of terror with monsters like those at his beck and call? No one knows for sure, as his past is shrouded in mystery, Yasuka admitted. All we know is that he was once an ordinary human who served King Jamshid before betraying him and usurping his control. Then again, it wouldn't have happened had Jamshid not become so arrogant and lofty to begin with. After that, Dahak just grew worse over time, while also gaining more followers as part of his decadent retinue. As for the source of his dark and twisted powers, no one knows, but the gurus believe he may have gained his powers thanks to a deal he made with someone or something. Really? Who? Soraya asked, causing Yasuka to shrug. Like I said, no one knows, as information regarding Dahak was erased and left forgotten by almost everyone, possibly by his own hands, Yasuka revealed. It's possible that he did it to avoid having anyone find out what his weakness was. That is correct, Gazdahan revealed, prompting Soraya and Yasuka to turn to him in surprise. Despite what he would want you to believe, Dahak does indeed have a weakness. It's just one that no one would expect. Are you serious? What is it? What did you find? Soraya asked with hope and excitement. She got up from her seat. Soraya, please calm down, Yasuka pleaded, placing a hand on her shoulder. Even so, what is this weakness that Dahak has which no one knows about? If you come with me, I'll show you, Gazdaham ordered as he gestured for the two young women to follow him. However, you have to swear that you will not tell anyone besides the tribe members and our allies what it is. Really? Why? Soraya asked in confusion. The reason we kept it secret for so long was because Dahak has sent spies to discover our plans and nearly destroyed us multiple times because of it. If it wasn't that, then he would send Deevs to kill anyone who had access to said weakness, while having his human cohorts get rid of it by any means necessary. He made sure to hide or destroy anything related to his weakness, but what he failed to realize was that we had access to what remained of it and stored it somewhere secret as per instructions from the original leader of the rebellion. You mean Kaveh, Nasir's ancestor? Soraya asked, to which Gazdaham nodded in confirmation. Indeed, it was he who came up with a backup plan by tracking down what remained of Dahak's weakness and hiding it so he could focus on maintaining the rebellion and waiting for another champion to bring us out of these dark days, the chieftain explained before stopping in front of a large boulder. We're here. The two ladies stood back as they watched the burly chieftain pull back the boulder and lead them to a secret room within the mountains that was extremely dark besides the hanging torches placed on the wall. They followed after him inside the room and down a small flight of stairs, growing more curious as to what this secret weakness of Dahak is. After arriving in the lower levels of the cave, they stopped in front of a large pile of metal objects. Though they looked rusted and unused, they still possessed a particular gleam to them that couldn't be ignored. Soraya took a closer glance and wiped some of the dust and dirt it had, only to be shocked when she saw what it was. Wait a minute, this is crucible steel! Soraya shouted, with Yasuka being just as shocked. How did you gain access to this? I thought this kind of stuff was wiped out years ago. Not even our kingdom has access to this kind of metal. So crucible steel is Dahak's weakness this whole time? How has anyone not realized this? Yasuka questioned. Due to crucible steel being forged in certain parts of Avesta and blessed by Omorasta in ancient times, Dahak and his forces were incredibly susceptible to it as a result of their evil natures being repelled by the substance, Gazdaham answered in a somber tone. While they couldn't get rid of it themselves, as getting close to it would weaken them, while touching it outright would kill them, they ordered their human followers to find anyone who held on to even a small piece of this type of metal and put them to death, with the seal itself being destroyed or placed in areas hidden around Avesta. As a result, we Frumi tribe members and the remaining rebellion members have been trying to recreate the steel or find the missing pieces as much as we can. Of course, it wasn't easy, as Dahak still has followers willing to sabotage our missions, with the Deevs not making it any easier. While it is fortunate that the Deevs are nocturnal and only come out at night, traveling and gathering resources as well as hiding our tracks hasn't been easy. Dahak is as paranoid as he is cunning. I see. That would explain why he was so willing to erase his past from the minds of future generations, including us, Yasuka commented. But Now that we have access to this, and you are willing to help us, we have a fighting chance against him. Yeah, we do, Soraya agreed as she stopped inspecting the steel. We know Dahak's weakness. We have combined our forces together, however small they may be, and are working towards the same goal. All we have to do is find other allies who can aid us in our quest and save Avesta, including our kingdom. Yes, that is the best option we have so far, Your Highness, Gazdaham agreed before getting down on one knee. On my honor as the chieftain of the Fumi tribe, I, Gazdaham, offer my fealty and service to you in order to take down the threat that has plagued us for too long. Well, as the only other representative of Bahar besides my brother, I humbly accept your fealty and allegiance. Even though the future is uncertain, if we can work together and trust in one another, we can stop Dahak and his forces once and for all. Then things are going to get better after all, Yasuka commented with hope in her tone. The prophecy is starting to come true, and we have a fighting chance unlike before. Indeed we do, Gazdaham agreed. However, it is clear that both of you are non-combatants and may need assistance and training in the art of war. If you wish to help us win this battle, you will need to learn how to fight alongside us and develop skills that can assist you, as well as enhancing your other abilities as well. I accept your proposition, Soraya said in a serious tone. I failed to fight against Dahak before, and I am not going to do it again. Very well then, I shall ask Gordafari to train you extensively, but be warned, she will not be so merciful at times, Gazdaham warned. Oh, please, I've had personal teachers who were a lot more strict than her. I can handle it, Soraya scoffed with a grin, causing Gazdaham to laugh, with Yasuka also being amused by her audacity. Ha! I like you even more, princess. I'll be sure to inform Gordafari about your future training with her. What about you, Yasuka? What combat abilities do you have? The chieftain asked. For me, I'm still in training, but I can manipulate air and clouds for me and others to ride on, but it's only temporary, Yasuka explained. I also have healing abilities, but even then, I'm still working on strengthening it and can only heal minor injuries. I also know a bit of martial arts, but due to my fragile body and nature, I don't think I would make for a decent fighter on the front lines. I'm sure we can make use of your abilities and help you get stronger, Gazdaham assured the young Skynon. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, especially the villains, but even the most frail have their own strengths that they don't know about. I'm sure you will find your strength in due time. In the meantime, we should go back to the camp and check on the wounded. We have a lot to do in the future. Yes, we do, Soraya agreed, as she and Yasuka followed him back upstairs towards the exit of the cave. Of course, this was only the beginning of their adventures, and it will only get crazier from here.